Hello everyone and welcome to the third session on the Mathematics in Sports Mathematics Laboratory Live in association with Arawat Foundation. MATLAB Helper is an organization providing programming assistance to students, professors and researchers. We provide help from basic MATLAB to advanced Simulink projects which includes IoT, machine learning, artificial intelligence and many more. Arawat Foundation is an organization who is working in the similar domain. The algorithm which we are developing in this session are something which are based on machine learning and artificial intelligence. And to this, to the basic audience, we are trying to make it as simple as possible. However, you can actually expand the same logic and train your own data, modulate it for the future and create your own predictor. Arawat Foundation is working on the different technologies which are in the field of machine learning and artificial intelligence through their domains like geospatial, healthcare, educational aids. Arawat Foundation is currently working on the main projects like vision glasses and educational aids to assist students as well as disabled people with the different ability to them. In the current session, we are going to design the application and we are going to talk about how we are going to implement the game's logic. So stay tuned for the upcoming part and check Arawat Foundation website for a course which you can be part in.
Hello everyone and welcome to the third session of the Mathematics in Sports Mathematics Laboratory Live on the auspicious occasion of National Mathematics Day. This day is being celebrated on the birthday of Acharya Ramanujan, a coveted mathematician from India. As of now, we have covered points including what exactly we are doing, cricket application. We have prepared the data, we have fetched the data, we have talked about the standardization of the teams, we have completed the pre-processing of data, as well as we have got the result parameters with us in the format of a table or a matrix. Next, we are going to design the application. In this application, there would be different components. So we will talk about this portion and the subsequent parts within this session. Let's move on to the MATLAB and move to the app designer. What is the difference between GUI and app designer? Well, think about it and post it in the comment, because we are not going to create GUI, we are going to create an application, and this is something new and catchy in the MATLAB at least. Alright, so this is where we have created the application designer. Okay, so this is the point where I just typed app designer to start application. The app designer tools get started. This is the by default screen of app designer. We can create axis, button, checkboxes, drop down, edit field. There are different options inside it. Not just that, we can create instrumentation element including, let's say, flow related information. You can create a group, a menu bar. So in a way, this is creating like a complete application. You can create an execution step by step what you can create upon. You can include multiple application and then tie up with one button. So we are going to talk about these different scenarios now. I have already created the application and I would like to show you what exactly I have done. I'm opening my WordCup Simulate app. The WordCup Simulate app contains two axes for maps. So if you see it over here, it's still loading, but the application would look something like this. In this application we have different parameters. So I have created this performance against for choosing between all teams and the opponent. This is created using our the part of option group. So I'll just show you where exactly this is. Alright, so title, radio button group. So I have utilized the radio button group to create the performance against parameter. This is either all teams or the opponent. Next, I have used drop down. So the drop down is over here. So drop down allowed me to selection from various option list. So I have used it from all competitions, in World Cup and in England. So these are the three options. Next, I have a time span. So in the time span, it is based on my Excel data, that is from beginning 10 years, 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, 1 year. We can choose all the options, and that's the part we are using for the data validation, or what exactly the data we need to choose from. Now, based on all these parameters, all the information, we need a button to click on get data. So once these options are selected, we are supposed to click on get data, which gets all the data and everything gets executed. Let's say you want to change something, so I clicked on all teams, then I choose from all competition. Let's say I just replace it to in World Cup, and then clicked on get data. So we need to make this get data button disabled, and at the same time we need to enable the reset button, so that all the parameters can get reset and we can actually choose new values and we can fetch new data next. So let me show you this portion only, the execution part, what exactly I have done. I'm running the application simulator now. So I'm not going to play the game, but I will be going to show you how exactly things are getting enabled, disabled, and etc. So this is the, let's say, the first application. So execution of application. All access gets hidden, whatever there are. All selection parameters are enabled. All buttons except get data are disabled. And we can change parameter for fetching the data. So for example, let's say I clicked on the opponent. So this parameter got disabled now. I can still choose from all competition and since beginning. I don't want to change anything. Okay, let's say I just click on get data. Let's say I clicked on last 3 years, so it's gonna, whatever input I choose, it disables the previous thing it can select upon. If in case you don't want to select this input, you just need to click on reset. All the things again get resetted, and you would be able to select the inputs from. In World Cup we have only 4 years as an option, so in case if we choose in World Cup, it changes the options from last like since beginning till last 4 years, and removes last 3, last 2 year, and last 1 year. So for example, last 4 year I selected it, and if I click on get data, what it does, data fetching. So once we select the parameters, the previous parameters get disabled to change. All parameters get disabled and reset button gets activated. Now the reset button got activated. I just talked about it a moment back. If reset button is pressed now or at any stage in the program, we can change the parameter of the data and fetch it. So this is the next part where we discuss like how exactly the game probability gets calculated, and this will happen when we click on start. But I need to talk and I need to inform you guys how exactly this thing is happening and how or what get data is actually getting. So let's move to the app designer part, and in the code view you will be seeing the whole code of this application.
Okay guys, so we have covered this point. Now just wanted to know from your end, do you have any question? If you have any queries, please write in the comment section below. We will be helping you out with your queries. If in case you want to get any file, please let us know. We will be providing you all support with the data, with the map file, or even I'll be sharing the presentation with you. But we will not be sharing you with the code. You need to design the code by yourself. You need to design the application by yourself. If you face any difficulty, please let us know, please inform us, and we will be here to help you out with all the work. MATLAB Helper's main purpose is to guide you guys, and I hope this session is helping you in learning and implementing something new in MATLAB.
Okay, so let's say if we start from app performance against button group. Let me go from app performance against callback, and we go to performance against button group selection changed. So here we are. This is the code for the performance against button group selection changed. If there is any parameter change, all team buttons, that is the two buttons, two option buttons, both the buttons get disabled, so that if anything is clicked upon, you can't change it later until you click on reset. Your where drop down is enabled now. Your time span drop down is again enabled. So where drop down is the portion of all competitions in World Cup and England, and time span is the portion of since beginning to 1 year. So going back to the code, and our start button is still off, so we need to make sure that until and unless get data has been done, you don't start the game. So this is what happening in performance against button group selection procedure. All right, so next is our all competition, where so we need to change the parameter based on the changing of where drop down button. So in it, whenever there is any value change, you need to disable the previous things. So all team, the two option, all team and the opponent button, both of those get disabled. Where drop down itself get disabled. In the time span it gets enabled because you are going to choose it later, so this option get enabled. Your get data button is still enabled and your start button is still off. It check whether the value of where drop down is in World Cup. In case the value of where drop down is in World Cup, just assign the value of this time span drop down from since beginning till last 4 years only. So, in the other cases, have it till last 1 year, that is covering all the values. If in case you have let's say before even choosing in World Cup, you had the value last year in the time span and you don't want it to be showing in the app.time drop down, but still it is there in the background, so you need to change its initial value by default, and then we are assigning it since beginning whenever the value has been changed. So this portion covers up the part of where. Now we'll be talking about the time span. So I'm going to the time span drop down value changed. Okay, now when the time span drop down value button is being changed, all the buttons previous as well as the current, so in a way all the selection parameters are getting off. So all team button, the opponent button, where drop down, time span drop down, all the buttons get disabled. Your get data button gets on, which is already on actually in the previous scenario, but if it was off it will be turned on. Your reset button will also be turned on so that you can reset all the parameters and do all the operation. Your app.start button will be off. So as of now you have reached to a stage where, let's say, you have selected value and your get data button is on, your reset is also on, your start is off. So that's what it has done. So now we are going to the code on get data button. So I'm going to show you the get data button post callback. Okay, so while you're checking the code, I just want to thank Airavat Foundation, who has supported us in this endeavor, who are also organizing National Mathematics Day along with MATLAB Helper on this day. We are very thankful about the work they are doing, and we would request you guys to go and check their website www.airavat.ngo and support as well as provide any input or any feedback whatever these guys are doing. So now I'm again into the get data button. When the get data button is clicked, first of all it takes the value of all the three parameters. So selected button, that is whether it is all teams or the opponent, it can be done using app.performance against button group .selected object.text. Next it has where value, so in where value you see the value of this where drop down, and in the time value you get the value of time span. So all these three values have been received. Next, all the buttons, if they are not off, we will make them off. So all team button, the opponent button, where drop down, time span drop down, all these values get off. This get data button itself will get disabled once it has been clicked. Reset button will be on and start button will be on. So these operation can be done now. In the MATLAB command window, it will just display a message data fetched. This is not mandatory, I just done it for my reference, you can remove it. And it calls a function load data app selected button where value and time value. So App is passing the original application which we are working with, and the three parameters, that is selected button, where value, and time value. These three parameters are passed to the load data function. So how do you create a function in application, and can you actually use the functions which has been created outside the application? So I'll be talking about the part now within this span. Here in the code browser you will see the functions. I have created different functions. So you will be seeing the load data function which has been created over here. You need to click on plus. When you click on plus, it will ask you like, okay, it automatically create a new function for you, and you can change the parameter, you can do the different working. You can create a public function, you can create a private function. So these are depending upon the need. For now these two are just a sample thing, so I'm just removing them. Okay, now in load data, so this is again based on the logical implementation about what exactly we need to import. So let me take you to the code. Okay, so that's the code. Function load data, taking the original application and three values of the parameters. String comparison can be done using strcmp function. So it compares whether the selected button has the value all teams. So if the condition of all teams is matched, then it will check if the where button has the value all competitions. Next, if the value is all competition, now we have defined it all the files into the 6 parameters. So that is team performances as the initial value in case you have all teams and all competitions. So the team performances.xlsx file has been taken as the workbook file name. So you have got one parameter for the function which we were calling for data importing. So workbook file is done. Now in the workbook file we have different sheets, all 10y, 5y, 4y and up to 1y. So you will see now I'm trying to compare the time value. If it has been selected as since beginning, I'm choosing the sheet name as all and I'm giving it as the end row, the final row of that particular sheet. Though it contains 28 rows and I have given it 28 value. If the time value has been selected as last 10 years, I'm giving it a sheet name 10y, which is the sheet name, and the end row as 22. So 10y and 22. In the similar fashion, everything is for 5 years, you have assigned it 5y, and 21 is from the 21st column, 21st row. Next 4 years. So in the similar fashion you have assigned for all the parameters or all the things which you have done. Next you see if rather than all competition your input was in World Cup, so in that situation you will be using team performances in World Cup as the file of your input. So I'm going back into the code. Else if string comparison, if where value is in World Cup, then the workbook file name assigned is team performances in World Cup. Now in World Cup there are only 4 sheets, so all 10y, 5y, 4y, these 4 condition would be checked for and would be assigned their values according to the end row available in that sheet. So since beginning all last 10 years 10y, last 5 years 5y, so all these sheets are done. Sorry, this was in England, here it's in World Cup, and end row 21, 18, 15 and 15. So this is based on the data 21, 18, 15 and 15, the data we have, we are just assigning it over here. So this part is done for the in World Cup situation. Now the third situation is if we selected in England as the input, so team performances in England. Now I'm opening it. So again it gives us the value from all sheet to one year as the sheet. Now here in the code you will be seeing in the similar fashion, if the string compared is in England, workbook file name is team performances in England, and then try to compare the time value with all the parameters since beginning, all last 10 year 10y, and end row is based on the end row, so it's 17 over here. In 2y let's say it's 11, so just compare it with the 2y and it's 11 over here. So 3 files have the similar pattern, and we are going to use data import function which we have created over here. So workbook file name, we got it, sheet name, we assigned it, and end row, we did it. So all these three parameters we pass to the code, and then the code can actually run the files which are in the current directory. Since this data import file is already there in my current directory, I can call the code from the app designer itself. So here I am assigning app.resultmat is equals to data import, and then I'm calling a function with all the three parameters which we have found out based on this different condition with workbook file, sheet name, and end row. Let me talk about what exactly result mat and result tab are over here. So when we create an application, we can use public or private variables which are being used across all the code on a particular function, or across different functions or public private property, depending upon what we have created them. So as we discussed earlier, the World Cup teams are supposed to be from South Africa to Australia in a proper order. I have shown it in the part here, team and standardization for the World Cup. So South Africa till Australia have been created as a standard public property, World Cup underscore team, that is WC underscore teams. And there are different parameters. So here there is one parameter with the name result tab. So result tab is standing for the result in the tabular form which we receive in the team versus team condition, and result underscore mat is the parameter which we get in the form of matrix, that is win percentage, loss percentage, and tie percentage. So two different way in which we are doing this probabilistic model of our application simulation. So I have created these two as the public variables, and whenever you create a variable inside the properties part, you need to call them using the app function. So app dot result mat, you can't actually assign them directly with result underscore mat because of that reason. So now I'm going back to the code. Okay, right. So here we have called data import over here. Since data import is giving us the result in the matrix form, so that is one way of doing it. We are assigning it into the result mat, and the other form factor I'm assigning it is as an empty vector. In case if we call multiple times, let's say previous time we found the result in the tabular form, so let us make that empty and assign the new value to that. This will be used in the later part when we try to get the values of winning chances, losing chances. So we will be finding it, or we will be operating based on the conditions in the result tab or result mat. So this was the part where we covered up team performances, the full performances. Now it is the point if the selected button had the value of the opponent. So here in the design view, if you have chosen the opponent as the primary performance parameter, so this thing would be called upon the opponent, and just like what we have done into our rest of the parameter comparison, if it's all competition, so you assign the file name, workbook file name, team versus team. So these are the file name I have already defined into my code. So team versus team in England, and team versus team in World Cup. So let me show you. All competition, it's assigned team versus team if you have selected since beginning. So let me open the data for you. Don't worry, all these data would be available to you by MATLAB helper. We are not going to give you the code, but we are going to give you the files, and the motive of this session is you do the coding, you learn the coding by yourself. You can use our service in case if you want. Otherwise, what our main motive is, you just try and practice it. So let's say if you face any error, please write it in the comment section, and we would try to help you out with that. Okay, now talking about the team versus team, so this is my file. In case of 1y, the end row is going to be, that is in the last 1 year, how many matches has been played, how many team versus team matches has been played. So up till 205th row it's showing me. So for 1y it's showing 205. So every Excel sheet and every Excel file, we are just going to cross check and define the code in this form factor with team versus team. Let's say in World Cup situation, it became team versus team in World Cup. If you're talking about in England, it became team versus team. Okay. All right. So this portion, I'll just correct. It's showing team performances. Rather than that, it's team versus team in England. Okay. So check and let me know if you find there are any further issue, and I would like to correct it for you. Team versus team in England, I'll just open as well so that I can show you. So team versus team is still open. We need team versus team in England. So for all, it's showing 241. So 241, that is correct. For let's say 3 year, it's showing me last 3 years there have been 77 rows. So 3 year and you have 77. So in this way you have done the part of data fetching, and then you just got the parameter to call data import tvtwc. That is the name of the function which we have talked in our MATLAB part. So data import tvtwc, we call that. It does all the processing part, pre-processing, which we have already done and discussed, and get us the tabular data, the another approach which we are talking about in our scenario. And finally we have this app.result_mat. So the matrix form would be assigned as the value, that is the empty value would be assigned, and this will complete our data fetching into our part. So now we have the data of table format or the matrix format into our code. We can start this. I just would like to show you one implementation, and let's see how the game happens, and we will be talking about the part again after this implementation. So that let's see the result as well with every operation. So here your matches are happening. Here you can see the result as well. Match between England and South Africa got tie, so that's a very interesting way to start the World Cup. Next, you are playing between Australia, West Indies, and there was a very big chance of tie. England, Afghanistan. So what exactly is happening is it's choosing between the opponent. So the parameter which have been selected is only team versus team in World Cup in last 5 years. So in last 5 years there are not even many of the matches has been played. So it's more like it's just talking about one World Cup and how many matches have been played in those scenarios. So these values which it's generating, let's say I'd like to stop at this interval and show you the table. So the scorecard or the point table gets shown. Rather than scoreboard, it's a point table, but that's okay. We are actually interested in the point and the team which are on the top. So interesting figure, Australia, which have 6 matches and won 5. So you remember the last World Cup has been like very good for the Australia. Now the parameters which we have chosen is only for the last one World Cup, and that's the reason it got the benefit out of that. Afghanistan did not even played a single match in the last season, or if they played, there wasn't a very optimistic result as far as I remember. So the result is coming poor. Even in scenario, if let's say there is a chance, for example, when I throw a coin, it has a chance to come either head or tail with an equal probability of 0.5 and 0.5. But let's say I skew the coin and make it in a situation when there are 3 portion, let's say head, tails, and it's in the standing position. Now I would say it can happen into 0.33 for the equal opportunity of everything happening, or we can even say something as 0.45, but there is a probability of happening. So even though there are chances of Australia winning a match, there may be circumstance when it loses a match, even if there is a 90% probability of winning the match. So that's how this probabilistic model is going on. I'll click on start button, or let's say if we want to reset and change the parameter to all teams at this time, let's say create it rather than all competition. We will take it all competition, but we'll take the data of last 4 years only. I'll clicking on the get data. So the new data has been taken now, and let's start it from now. So data fetched again. Now India versus Afghanistan, winner was India. Now there is a greater chances, like there is more data available for working upon, and it can actually process and give you the performance analysis according to that. So post the new data fetch, let's say 27 matches were played before that, and around 27, so there are 45 matches in it, so about 18 matches would be played based on the new data set, and we would see what's the performance improvement across this World Cup implementation or simulation. So we just at the 45th match, the scorecard the point table will be showing. So we have the point table showing us that the top 4 teams of this World Cup would be South Africa, New Zealand, Sri Lanka and India. So semi-final 1 happened between South Africa and India. India won that. Semi-final 2 happened between New Zealand and Sri Lanka. So New Zealand won that. Final is being played between India and New Zealand. So it is mentioning that India wins the World Cup 2019. Now see how we can actually change the parameter at any stage of the game. I did it at the half stage, and based on the performance of India in last 4 years, India is a very in a situation which it is supposed to win the World Cup based on the performance it has done in the last 4 years. But if we just talk about a single World Cup or a single situation, there may be situation when India is not even a probability of having winning it. So with this simulation, I would like to give you another piece of advice. So this is a game of probability, game of mathematics. This is not a game of emotions. You don't want to incline to the result, more like what exactly is going to be is supposed to happen. This is only an application simulation, and this is for a practical and learning purpose. The mission of MATLAB Helper and Airavat Foundation is to support you guys with the learning and implementation. If you guys need any support, please feel free to contact us, and if you have any insights towards the non-profit, you want to work for non-profit, please get in touch with Airavat Foundation and look for a cause which you believe in. Okay, so now I'm going back to the app designer. As of now, we have discussed the part of all the performance parameters and get data. We have talked about a function, whether when get data is called, how the data is being fetched into the code. We have seen one game implementation as well, but we haven't talked about how the matches has been getting played. So this will be discussed later on. Let me just tell you how we have actually what exactly is happening in the startup. So when we generate the function of this callback, it generates a startup function of application, and it does a couple of things. So what I'm trying to do is it changes the name. So the application name, I'm changing it to World Cup Simulator with MATLAB Helper and Airavat Foundation. Then I'm clearing the workspace. So sorry, not clearing the workspace, I'm clearing the command space. All this information would be cleared directly when the startup is executed or this application is run. There is a scenario in which let's say tie is having value of 0.0001, and that is very low value, so pie chart is not able to process it properly, and it doesn't consider that and gives a warning message. So when we use warning function, it disables those warning messages, but if you want, you can even see those warning. It's not a big warning though. Next, I have converted, or I have changed these labels whenever these are run. So defining them with the text property, app.label.text is welcome to MATLAB Helper. Rest of the labels are marked as off, so their visibility is off when the application is run. In the similar fashion, all the access are marked as off when they're run. then stop button is again off, and then we are using World Cup schedule app to call the or to fetch the World Cup schedule. So I'll just show you the schedule W Cup file. So this file contains the data. Now what we are doing is, I have actually defined a function inside the application as World Cup schedule. So if we go to the function part and check the World Cup schedule, you will be noticing that there is no output to it. So I have directly created a schedule part or a schedule property inside the main portion. Now the task of this World Cup schedule is only to get the whole schedule, that is matches being played by team 1, team 2, and it's also getting the value of venue, day, night, but we are not using them for our this implementation. The program has a scope of improvement, so you can actually utilize the feature of venue, day, night, even different kind of information, like on a particular date this team used to win this much matches, and so these kind of things can be implemented and can make the complexity of this application huge. If you want to figure it out and if you want to create a project through this for your college or for your let's say for your team, for your organization, you can actually refer this code and think about the larger ways in which you can do the implementation. Okay, so I'll just show you this file again for schedule World Cup. We have got everything we have received, but only point which we are using is team 1, team 2, and that's it. Match number you can consider, but match number is being played and everything is being shown at that time.
So guys, what do you think about the India winning the World Cup this time in 2019? Well, our MATLAB game this time has predicted India should be winning the 2019 ODI World Cup. Being the Indian, I would prefer India wins the World Cup, but let's see. The mathematics shows every time we create a new game, we create a new probability, the team winning is coming as a different result. So I might say that in the next session when we are doing the same simulation, we might see India losing this World Cup. But for now, I'm pretty much happy that India is winning the World Cup. Now, so for all of our fans who are from outside India, consider this as a chance for you to improve upon. MATLAB Helper is an organization who is trying to do better for the programming course. If you are looking for any help, any programming assistance, contact us at matlabhelper.com. And for any course which you would like to support for the mankind, join Arawat Foundation. In the upcoming session, we are going to talk about the play match thing, the final function which is required, as well as designing the scorecard or the point table for our application. We would also be simulating the application one more time and show you the predicament or the result probability. We will be discussing different scenarios and we will be talking about semi-final, final, all these things. So stay tuned for the last video. Hello everyone. MATLAB Helper is a team of experienced tutors and experts providing assistance to students, professors and researchers in the field of MATLAB and Simulink. We cover all the concepts from basics to advanced, whether it talks about IoT, machine learning, image processing or artificial intelligence. Arawat Foundation is an organization working with an objective to assist mankind through human progress, innovation and technological advancement. Arawat Foundation's logo is We Do the Impossible. This We Do the Impossible cannot be possible without your input. So if you are looking to support the cause, help us in doing something better for the mankind. MATLAB Helper is conducting this session in association with Arawat Foundation, and we are thankful to Arawat Foundation for providing all the support and input for this successful organization of this session.